Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Wise Ones. And joining me is certainly someone who is extremely wise, and he's been extremely helpful. He's been my coach and mentor and my friend. His name is red.olaughlin, and he's very involved in our platform here. He obviously is a co-host of this show. He's also one of our expert presenters on our Talking Heads platform, and he has been certified as an elevated listener on our listening team, which means that he listens completely. He is totally present. He is not listening with judgment, with providing a solution, with interrupting, or the dreaded stage hogging. And soon he will be hosting his own panel on health. Let's welcome Mr. red.olaughlin. Hello, how are you?
Excellent as always, doctor, and you know that. You asked me that earlier, and you said, I know how you, I don't need an answer, but now that you asked me live on TV, excellent as always. And I
Fantastic.
thank you very, very much for that lovely introduction.
Well, you know what? I actually forgot something. I have to reach over here for a minute, but you helped me publish these two Amazon #1 best-selling books in less than 11 months. This one just came out, and we went to #1 in, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. And then this one was from last May or June. So reach out to him, folks. If you're looking for a book coach, he's the man. He's got a great process that he uses, and he's truly a good person. He is someone that I've worked with. How many hours did we spend together working on the books? Oh my gosh.
Routinely, not much, maybe an hour or two a week, but as we get toward that magic deadline, that hour or two almost becomes daily. But regardless, we got it done. We got it done on time. Your book got out there, and boom, I mean, with all your preliminary advertising and letting the people know, your public relations, you managed to get enough people to buy your book quickly, and it just jumped onto #1 on Amazon. As you say, literally in a couple, 3 hours. It did not take very long at all.
No, and thank you to all those kind people. And we're working together on my next set of books, which are children's books, and then also how to make an impression. I'm not going to go into the title now, but anyway, it's not about me. It's about our guest today. But before we bring him out, I want to spotlight you, Red, because you have a whole life outside of this channel. You're extremely well educated, and you've been very successful in your life. I thank you for your service in the military, and I know you're celebrating a big wedding anniversary coming up. So tell our audience more about Red.
red.olaughlin, I'm a speaker, an author, a writer, and I'm a publisher. But long time ago, before I met my wife, my first love was chemistry. I use chemistry to research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat a symptom, you'll always treat a symptom. And that has really led me into what I do nowadays. I write almost exclusively on aging, on longevity issues, on age-related diseases. Immediately following this program today, I have a program called Talking Heads, and I'll be doing a presentation, and it'll be number 6 out of 6 on this particular series on heart health. I did one on how to write and publish a book for free, 6 parts to that one. I did another one on longevity, concentrating on Alzheimer's. There's a lot of information that gets out there, but most of my stuff is focused on cause and effect relationships. But one day on a Sunday afternoon with my best friend, we went up to Dallas, Texas to take an Navy aviation physical. I passed, he flunked, he got 4F and never went in the military. I got an invitation to Vietnam not long after that. But the following Wednesday night, I said I do to my wife, and he was my best man at that event too. So Navy, 31 plus years, 61 countries. My wife, 54 years coming up in July, and we've already made plans to go someplace, and I'm keeping that pretty much to myself right this moment. And so that is me, and I'm going to introduce our guest here as soon as Dr. JACALYN says it's okay to go.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and introduce Ed Katz.
Ed KATZ, I met recently. We had a really wonderful conversation. He's involved in marketing, media communications, public relations, a lot of different things. And I'm going to pretty much let him go into the detail of who is Ed KATZ. So, Ed, would you please join us?
Welcome to the show, Ed Katz.
Hi, thank you very much. Appreciate being here.
It's so nice to see you. And marketing is so important, and yet it's so elusive. It's amazing to me. You think you have it figured out, but you really don't. And you have to work with experts like you. So I know we're going to talk about public relations and marketing, but you've accomplished so many other things in terms of film and production, and we could go any number of ways. So let's spotlight you and tell us a little bit about what you want us to know and the audience to know about you.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I run Katnip Marketing, which just turned 14 years old just last week. And that's been a fun ride. Before that, I co-founded an agency, grew it to be one of Connecticut's largest ad agencies. I sold my half of it and started Katnip Marketing, as I said, just over 14 years ago. I and my teams have won over 100 industry awards over the past 20 plus years. And my digital team is Google, Yelp, and Bing certified, and less than 3% of the agencies in North America have all those certifications. So we focus on what the client wants, and we work with so many different types of clients. We're helping promote several book authors right now, building up their following on social media, because Red and Dr. JACALYN, I'm sure you both know that reporters don't want to interview someone who has 100 followers on Facebook. So we build them up to many thousands of followers on Facebook and Twitter. We have one client, we just got up to over 16,000 followers on Twitter. And it's terrific because it makes it much easier, because the reporters want to make sure that when they interview someone, that it's going to be seen not only by their existing audience, but to potentially new audiences for them, for their stories. So if a client has 15,000 followers, they know that's going to be seen by those followers. So that makes them a more attractive interview subject for the reporters and the media. So that helps a lot. So we build them up. We get the media coverage for them, interviews, book launches and book events, speaking appearances, all different things. So the authors are a small part of what we do. We work with small business owners, nonprofits. In fact, after we finish this call, I have to finish up a press release for a nonprofit client. So lots of different fields. Work a lot with accounting firms and law firms, helping them with their clients in a lot of cases, sometimes with them, and promoting them as subject matter experts, which I'll get into a little bit later, but building up their name awareness. And but with their clients, a lot of times it's not a lot of times, fortunately, but many times it's crisis communications work. So I've done a lot of that as well. And in fact, my quick summation on that is I helped one client win a six-figure legal settlement, and another client avoid a racial discrimination lawsuit, all just with proactive public relations work. So people really don't understand, as you said before, Dr. JACALYN, especially the PR component to marketing. People think marketing, they think, social media, television ads, and I'm going to be flying up north. I'm in Florida, but I'll be flying up north to shoot TV commercials next week for a client. And TV is still a very valid medium with a very significant audience, but there's so many other channels to use now too. So that's what I do for clients. Beyond that, I'm also a theater and film producer. I'm on the producing team for The King's Speech, the play, which, if you've seen the movie, the play, I think, is actually even better. It started as a play. The man, David Seidler, who won the Oscar for Best Screenplay, he wrote the play first, and it just ended up becoming a movie first. But I actually like the play better because it's funnier, very poignant, but also funnier. And that's was touring successfully till COVID hit. We're now looking for a Broadway theater to bring that back. So that's one play. There's a one-man show about a former NHL hockey star that I'm hoping to launch in Las Vegas with my team for that. And I'm on the film producing team for a couple of documentaries. So all sorts of crazy things, which I can't go into too much detail on. And then the latest thing, and see if any of you are aware of these. You familiar with NFTs and NFT art? So I'm helping a friend who's in a rock band make some NFT art, 3D NFT art. So just a lot of different things, and it's a crazy media world right now.
Congratulations. That's really exciting. I'd love to talk to you about the NFT art as well. And I'm in Florida too. How about that?
Okay, great. Palm Beach County. How about you?
I think he
Where
might
are
be
you?
Palm Beach County.
Oh, I am too. I'm in Boca.
We're close. I'm just a little north.
Okay, fabulous.
Are you all aware of that storm that passed through Mexico?
It's coming
Hurricane
tomorrow.
Agatha?
Yeah, we're supposed to get some rains this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm headed to New Jersey.
Ed, yeah, you're getting ready to head up north there pretty soon, aren't you, Dr. JACALYN?
Yes, I'm going to New Jersey. So,
Returning.
But go ahead, Red. I'm sorry.
I'm intrigued, Ed KATZ and Katnip Marketing. There must be a connection somehow between KATZ and Katnip, or is there some other thing that we're not aware of, or is this a trade secret?
It actually goes back to college. I was at college at Syracuse, and I was working on I had a dual major at Syracuse in Newhouse School of Communications. I had a film major, and I also got a marketing degree from the management school there. And but I had a film partner for a senior project, and we came up with his last name ended in NIP. The first three letters of my last name were KAT, so we called it Katnip Productions. So, first three letters of my name, last three letters of his name. And when I wanted to start my own business, I called him up and I said, Tim, I want to resurrect the name. Is that? And I explained it, and he goes, I would be honored, is what he said. So that's where it came from. But yeah, Katnip obviously is something that kind of has a great, positive, crazy, motivating effect on cats. So I thought there was also something that if we can create ads and messages and public relations that has that effect for the clients, target customers, that would be a good thing too. So that's where the story of Katnip comes from.
Interesting.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And congratulations on 14 years in business. That is just phenomenal. I really do. I appreciate all the small business owners. As someone who just started, a year and a half ago, I really 14 years. Yes.
Right.
Red.
I noticed that you mentioned, I also noticed in your website over 100 awards over, you said, the last 20 some years, 24 years. Yep. Which one of those are you really proud of?
Probably there's a few. There's the Mercury Award for overall marketing effectiveness and full marketing, just integrated marketing communications awards. There's a couple of those that I've won. Those I'm very, very proud of. Another was I accepted an award from in Washington, D.C. at the National Press Club from PR News Magazine for my agency, doing proactive public relations work, working with a lobbying firm to actually it was to get the funding in Connecticut for the Patriots, the New England Patriots football team, to potentially move to Hartford. It didn't happen, but our job was to get the funding to pass and build the groundswell of support from the state to allocate the money and vote for it. And we worked with the lobbying team, and we did it. And I ended up getting a hug from Robert Kraft, which nowadays is not something, it's kind of makes me a little queasy, but at the time it was kind of cool. And the reason they didn't move is because the NFL didn't want them leaving Boston, the Boston area. So they made up the difference between where Connecticut's funding was and Connecticut's funding was here, Massachusetts was here. The NFL said, look, you can stay if we make up the difference. If Massachusetts keeps their money on the table, boom, they did. So he didn't have to move. So I get it. But anyway, we had a very successful outcome for it. So that was an award I was very proud of, because that was a big challenge in a lot of ways. We had a television network, NBC, doing hit pieces on us on the plan for Connecticut to allocate the funds because Robert Kraft didn't vote for them to get the football contract one time. And of course, NBC never revealed that, but I'll reveal it to you here. So anyway, it was kind of made a challenge to it. They put a whole Fleecing of America story that they ran, and we had to overcome that. And we had a lot of challenges, but we got it done, and it passed in the state House by a 2-to-1 margin and state Senate by a 3-to-1 margin. So it was a very successful outcome.
I notice you are a member of the American Association of Political Consultants. What is that?
That's a group of people who work on political campaigns, and I've done that many times for, over 20 years at this point, a little over 20 years. And started with a buddy from mine from college who introduced me to a candidate who was running for state treasurer. And he said to me, look, he said, he may not be with the party you're affiliated with, but he's the right guy for the job. It's a state treasurer's office. It's not, liberal or conservative. It's not that kind of thing, but he's very well qualified. And I met him. He was very well qualified. And he said, how much money do I need to raise to really put on a good race and have a shot at winning? And this goes back, as I said, about 20 years, actually a little over 20 years, 25 at this point. And I told him he needed at least $100,000. And he goes, oh, that's going to be tough. I'm like, you're not going to have any shot. We won't be able to get the message out if you don't do that. So he worked hard on it. Meanwhile, the sitting incumbent had over $500,000. Long story short, we won that night, election night. And the state party chairman for his party came to me and said, how did you do this? I want you in my office. And he started giving me work and my agency work. And I've been friends with him ever since and worked on many campaigns. And that was my indoctrination in a huge upset win that made all the papers and basically kind of put us on the map as doing political advertising and consulting. So I've been working on it ever since, and I'm got another race I'll be working on at least one this fall, maybe 2 or 3.
You certainly have some very exciting projects. Yes, congratulations.
Never a dull moment, right?
How different is? Go ahead, Dr. JACALYN.
No, go ahead.
How different is political marketing versus an entrepreneur's business marketing?
Wow. It's really, really different. There's so many different factors to consider. The target audience, and I will share this with you. It's for politicals, especially for a primary. It's adults 35 plus. And I hate to say this, you don't want to ignore the 18 to 34-year-olds, but so few of them vote, especially in a primary, that it makes sense to target the adults 35 plus. Those are the key voters. They vote on the highest numbers. So also there's the political rate cards for media are very, very different. And there's a whole way of doing it. And if I hadn't worked inside a TV station to understand it and process the orders and see the rate cards and how they were developed and how the rate structure works and where to get the best deals for clients, I've seen it on the TV station's logs where one client is paying $5,000 and another client is paying $3,000 for an ad in the same program, all because they bought it differently. One knew how to buy it better, and one just did the easy way, pay the highest rate and make sure it runs. So there's all sorts. It's very, very complicated to do political media buys, but I've done it for many years and help clients basically, in some cases, win because they were able to get more value out of their media dollars than the other clients we could get the message on more frequently, or change the message and get a separate message on too.
Thank you, Ed. And when we think about small business owners, whether they are just starting out or they've been in business for a long time, what kind of budget should they set aside to do marketing and PR? And that's the first question. I'll just ask you that.
Sure. For social media, to do a social media campaign, it'd be great to have at least $1,000 a month, but we can do it for less. We have some budgets that are, closer to $500 or $600 a month. It's harder to get results. It's not as dramatic, but we make it appear as a bigger budget because my team's really good at that. And I give them the credit for that. That's what they do on a day-to-day basis. I oversee the campaigns. I look at the numbers and check and see where issues may be, but they're really good at executing and getting the best value for the client's dollars. So we can make, maybe a $600 a month budget look more like $1,000 a month budget. But ideally, it would, just from a social media standpoint, it'd be good to have close to $1,000 a month at least. For a traditional media, radio and TV, radio, it depends on the market size. Every market's different. Here in the West Palm Beach market, it's considered on the larger side of a mid-sized market. It's in the top 40 nationwide. So it's not ridiculously expensive. It's not like, New York or Los Angeles or Chicago or Boston, which is a very expensive market for its size. But you can make do with a smaller budget because it's not a ridiculously oversized market. So for clients, it really varies by the market they're in. But you've got to be able to set aside at least a few $1,000s a month for something like that at a minimum. Even in a market this size, and in the bigger markets, much more. You'd have to look at least 5 figures a month, maybe even closer to 6 for the top 2 or 3 markets.
Thank you for that. And just as a follow-up question, if one does go ahead and make a commitment to have their budget, part of their budget, put into this social media marketing or the TV and radio marketing, should they expect results right away? Or is this something that takes a few months or a year or longer?
It can be immediate. Public relations usually takes a couple of months because you have to develop the campaign. But then when it starts going, it can get traction really quickly. But TV ads can work pretty much instantaneously. If the ad's really good enough, there's a good enough hook, the ad's clever or compelling enough. So that can be pretty much immediate. And radio, within the first week or two, you should know if a radio campaign is having some traction for you. And social media, almost immediate. I mean, within the first 2-3 days, if you're not seeing some results, then you've got to look at what's going on.
And thank you for that. And should the return on investment be equal to the amount of new revenue that you're getting instantly? Or is that something that if you set out $5,000 and you get a couple $100 in sales, is that a good sign? Or is it has to match the amount of investment?
You're going to want to have higher returns, or it wouldn't make sense to do. It's just a question of how long it takes. Usually for campaigns, when we do on social media and digital marketing, digital ads, you want to have at least a 6-month commitment. And the reason for that is our team learns as we go. We're learning for each client what works. So the first month or two, we're tweaking and seeing what's working, testing. And it's constant testing and refinement, but it's on a bigger level in the beginning to really analyze where the best markets are and the best returns are coming in from. And as we tweak it and go, it gets more cost efficient, and we lower the cost per click, the cost per lead, however it's, the client's goals, whatever they tend to be. So by the time we're through 2 months, we're really hitting our stride, and the next few months are going to be the most cost efficient for you, because at that point the team has really learned where the best areas of opportunity are and the most cost-efficient programs and messages and traffic tunnels. So the funnels. So that's where it really becomes good after that. So if a client can bear with it for the first 2 months or so, usually by the end of the second month, everything starts humming along pretty well.
Oh, good. Thank you for clarifying that. That's what I thought, that if you make the initial investment, but you might not get your return on investment right away, but it will ultimately be more than that, and that's why you should go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and I mean, and besides the fact of just sales, you're getting your name out there. I mean, as you, I'm sure you both know, top of mind awareness is so critical for any business. I mean, and I hope every business owner who's out there posts on a pretty regular basis, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Any of the patterns, any of the social media channels are good to try to maintain some sort of a level of connectivity with your target audience. Because, I've gotten referrals and people say, I had forgotten to call you until I saw you made a post, and then they call me. Okay, well, so then just the posting just kept me top of mind awareness for someone who I started a big project with, and I hadn't worked with her on a project for almost 10 years. But she saw the post. She's like, oh yeah, Ed does that. I liked working with him. Great, let me call him. We did a good job together. Boom. So that's where it comes in handy. So the repetition is a big factor. So even if sales aren't initially translating, you're getting your name out there and you're helping for top of mind awareness. So even after maybe a 2-week ad campaign ends or a 4-week ad campaign ends, people will still be fresh in their minds for several weeks after that. And you could get residual benefits from that.
Ed, we're getting ready to go to a marketing break, so to speak. And I know from a professional perspective, you understand the difference between marketing and advertising. But for us small business owners, those words are almost synonymous. So when we come back, would you like to explain what the difference is and where small businesses should really kind of concentrate their efforts?
Sure. Happy to do it.
Thank you so much. And I know you have some fabulous tips to give to our audience as well. So we will share them. Okay, let's take a moment and we'll be back after we hear from some of our sponsors. Thank you.
Take a moment. Take a moment. Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
So I've had the privilege of photographing some incredible people over the years, and during each shoot I've asked the subject to close their eyes and take themselves to a peaceful place just for a few seconds. I've found that this really helps to refresh the energy between the camera and the subject. They had an energy that was quite special and quite different from the rest of the shoot. The collection grew, and now it feels the right time to use it for something good. I think it'd be amazing if we could help to raise awareness and involve people in the discussion about mental health. So what we're asking to do is for everyone to upload their own self-portraits. All of these portraits will become part of a massive artwork. I'm really excited to see this project go from hundreds of pictures to thousands of pictures. Essentially, an ever-evolving artwork that says we're all in this together.
Close your eyes and take a moment.
The session that we had with BKAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BKAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BKAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diane Floyd Bame's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at dianefloydbame.com.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for staying through the break. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and this is USA Global TV and Radio. Our show today is The Wise Ones. Let's welcome back my co-host, Mr. Red O'Laughlin. Hello, welcome. And our
Howdy.
special guest, who is the founder of the award-winning agency, Katnip Marketing. Welcome back, Ed Katz. Nice to see you.
Good to see everybody again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Red, I know that you had a topic you wanted to come back in on, and then we'll go to mine.
Yeah, I think about things as a small business owner, and the terms marketing and advertising almost seem to be the same. And then you get that interwoven thing, branding, in there too, that could also be incorporated in that. So I figured I got a professional here today. Why not get that perspective of what those terms really mean, in particular for a small business person?
Okay. Great question and very popular, misunderstood situation. So basically, advertising is one channel of getting your message out through paid ads. In the umbrella of marketing, it's like one spoke. So I hope that helps clarify it. The other spokes for marketing could be everything. I mean, marketing is really the whole process of seeing what customers need, finding out, doing the research and identifying it, and then determining the plan and executing it to meet those needs through the client's products or services. So with advertising, you're just doing paid ads. Very, very simple version of it, but that's really what it is. And with marketing, there's public relations is a component to it, social media, direct mail, email, out of home is part of it, which can also be considered advertising. You know, billboards, signage, it's all of it. So even event marketing is something different, and then just traditional advertising. So I hope that clarifies it, because there's just so many more components to marketing than just advertising, but advertising is obviously a key component of marketing.
Okay, so marketing is the total umbrella, and each spoke in the umbrella is a different aspect, of which one paid advertising is a spoke that goes out from that.
Exactly.
So I hear the term social media marketing. I may not spend anything, but as you said earlier, the mere fact that you have your presence there all the time by posting, commenting, sharing, whatever the social media site allows, those are things that keep you in your audience's view, per se.
Right, top of mind awareness, exactly.
I was trying to think of that term and I forgot it already. Top of mind awareness, okay.
And Ed, we're going to bring up your deck, and you're going to share some tips with us, which I'm really excited about. And then I'd love to hear about how you work with your clients, what that process looks like for people who are listening and watching, so they can reach out to you. How does that sound?
Sure, sounds great.
Okay, let's bring up your deck.
Okay, let me go back. I didn't remember where we left it off. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I can go through this pretty quickly. So just for people who are not familiar with public relations, the definition of Wikipedia has it right there. And then Forbes came up with 5 key things that public relations can do for a business, even a small business. So helping develop your brand identity and building consumer interest for it, grow consumer trust. Even it can help, and people don't think of this, it can help drive greater valuations for your business, as well as even generate investor interest. So if you're thinking of selling or acquiring, it can help in that case as well. So the different types of PR, owned media, so for your website, podcast, shared media is using the social media channels. And then what's traditionally thought of as public relations is earned media, getting news coverage, getting interviews, media writing about your business. So that gives you third-party credibility. And then there is paid media, promotional, and they're called advertorials. If you look carefully, even in the New York Times, you'll see a little thing that looks like a news story, but at the top, it may say, sponsored or message or paid advertisement. So that's those are considered advertorials. So how PR helps your business, and it's just real basic stuff. Top of mind awareness, which we just talked about, shows your business to be reputable and growing. And you want to be positioned as a local industry leader and a good community citizen. And then what we talked about before, subject matter experts, or SME, you want to be able to have the awareness for your target market that you are an expert in your field. So there's different ways to do that, from publishing white papers or getting interviews and getting media coverage about you and your business. So okay, and then we got those. So here's some tips that I think everybody could use. So for every small business, there's at least seven occasions when it makes sense for you to issue a press release. Most people only think of 2 or 3. Here's 7 right here. You're announcing a new hire, you got a big new client or a contract, you've got a company event going on, or you just had it, a key employee promotion, a company award. If you hit a milestone, I just hit 14th anniversary, not a huge number that people think of 10 or 15, but still 14 years, it's something. So that's another kind of a milestone that you can talk about from a PR standpoint. And then if your company's doing pro bono work or making a charitable gift, that's another opportunity. And press releases, they take time, but they don't cost a lot of money. I mean, disseminating the release, if you use a newswire service, can cost some money, but to get it out to local reporters, that's just time and effort, and hopefully having connections to them. Okay, and then that's just some basics on doing that. I don't need to get into all that with everybody here, but so, and then some of the other ways, I'm a little more advanced in how PR can help a business for introducing a new product or service, crisis communications plan, and I've helped clients develop those. I worked with a large nonprofit, and the first thing I said to them, we're already in a pandemic. What's your crisis communications plan should something even worse happen, or something, a larger version of this pandemic? And they're like, we don't have a crisis communications plan. I'm like, okay, I think I know what task 1 is going to be. That was the first thing. And now they're ready. So should anything really bad happen, they know exactly who needs to do what and when. And there's a whole timeline laid out for them of how things should go. So they go as smoothly as possible, even under bad circumstances. Very important. So if you're introducing a new product or service, or a competitor just came out with something and you need to get some kind of momentum back from a perception standpoint, you can do some things from a PR standpoint to work on that. And again, you want your company and your company's leaders to be positioned as subject matter experts for your field, to enhance your company's reputation. And I mentioned the other things before. So that was pretty much it. Okay, yeah, that's it. I have my contact info at some point too. There's a website. Okay, so that's it. We don't have to do the sharing anymore. Okay, so I just wanted to hit on those points, but I thought that was key. And another thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but everyone should want to set up a Google alert for your business and your competitors. Free to do. All you have to do is have a Google account. I mean, at this point, pretty much everybody has a Google account, and you can set up a Google alert for your business to monitor any media coverage that you get that maybe you weren't aware of. Oh, someone's writing about me. Hey, wait a minute, what did they say? That's where it's really good to flag it, so it doesn't go for a week with everyone seeing it and no response from you and your business. And then also you want to know what's going on with your competitors. Same reason. Something happened, you want to be among the very first to know about it. So that's a free tip, free to do. I just wanted to make sure to share that with everybody, that Google Alerts, free tool for everybody.
Thank you, Ed. These are great tips that you're sharing. And how do people work with you and your team? What does that process look like?
Okay, so generally we start with a media audit. We find out where the client is and what their goal is. They're at point A. We try to get a good measure of what point A really looks like, as objectively as possible. We get the client's perspective. We do a kind of a deep dive on social media and the web and their website, and determine where their version of point A is to our version of point A, and we kind of talk with them about that. And we find out what their goals are, where they want to get to, point B, and then we can lay out a blueprint and a map to from a marketing standpoint to help them get there. But it really does come down to doing a social media audit and analyze media coverage that they've gotten, and look deeply into their website, make sure that's set up right. I mean, we had one client that we noticed they were getting, as an architectural firm, and they had great photos of their success stories with clients and great projects that they did. But they noticed, we noticed their website traffic kept falling off. People weren't staying on their website. They'd go on and quickly leave. And we're like, what's the problem? And then we noticed their photos were all very high resolution. They had over 60 photos, 5 megabytes each. So it took a while for computers to load their website because they wanted the photos to be high resolution to showcase their beautiful work, which makes sense, right? But it was slowing down the rendering. And, people don't stick around to 10 seconds, which is what it often took to load their website. 10 seconds, that's too long. So we cut it down to under 3 seconds by shrinking the photos and removing some of them that we thought were extraneous. But the ones they had left, instead of being 5 megabytes, we got them to closer to 1 megabyte or a little under. So boom, just instantly helped their website traffic retention because people were able to get on the website quicker. If you can't get on the website, it takes 10 seconds, people are going to leave. So if they're able to get on the website in less than 3 seconds, okay, they'll stick around and explore it a little more. So that was a huge help for a client. It was just from doing a basic audit of the client's website.
Fabulous. Something that we wouldn't necessarily think of.
Yeah, save the free tips to last. So if you stay around till the end, you will walk away with a lot of good information that you can use
Better
today.
stick around till after the break, right?
That's right. So, Ed, we have come to the end of our show because we have another show right after this. What is the best way for people to get in touch with you, especially those who cannot read the banner or they're listening on the radio?
Okay, sure. So the website's www.katnipmarketing.com, Katnip with a K. And best way is to email me, my first name and first initial last name, EKatz, EKatz, and then again with a K, katnipmarketing.com, EKatz@katnipmarketing.com.
Thank you very much. And Ed, it looks like from what you shared today, you do work with clients to create sponsorships or advertisements?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
On a regular basis, right.
Fantastic. Well, I'll be reaching out to you because we're looking for some production partners for our clients to be able to have content created to share on our platform.
Excellent. That makes perfect sense. Great. Love to help.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. We look forward to having you back on this or any of our other shows.
Thank you so much. It was great being here. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Red, I'm going to spotlight you, and thank you so much for bringing Ed to the platform. He could be a future business partner with us, so that's really fantastic. And he gave a lot of really good content to share for business owners all over. So well done, my friend. How can people get in touch with you?
red.olaughlin.com. That's RED like the color. O'Laughlin, OLAUGHLIN. red.olaughlin.com. Email would be red@red.olaughlin.com. or red.olaughlin@gmail.com. Those are the two emails that I monitor on a regular basis.
All right. Thank you very much. And what will you be sharing today in your talking head session?
I'm going to wrap up our 6 weeks discussion on heart health, talk a little bit about why of balance is needed in our foods and in our lives. And so we're going to be looking at some details of some nutrients and how they affect the heart. And then we're going to do a quick summary of, what are the symptoms and the causes and risk factors and things like that just kind of wrap up the last 5 weeks of what we've been talking about in detail. And so that's my approach for today.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in the other studio and to Bruce the show for you. And I'll be right there. I'll let you go and get ready.
Thank you so very much. We'll catch you later on, Dr. JACALYN.
Thank you.
Now.
Bye. Thank you to each and every one of you who is watching us or listening on the live or the replay. We're so excited. We have 11 television platforms and 3 radio platforms, and then we become a podcast on 6 other platforms. We launched 2 new shows this week. So if you're wondering, how can I find out what's going on? Go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. And the 2 shows that we launched this week are Aging Gracefully with Humor and global homes and gardens. So we are always looking for new content. We currently have 29 live shows each week. That's right. I stand for 29 hours a week, and I just love it. I'm meeting the most incredible people, and we've grown so much since we launched January 10th of this year, and that's all because of you. So thank you again. Please help spread the word. And if you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please do go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. And on another note, if you are new to our channel, in addition to being the president and the founder of USA Global TV and Radio, I am also the president and founder of drjacalyn.com. And I am a certified life and career coach, a certified meditation teacher, and a certified yoga instructor. And I'm the listening mentor. I teach people how to listen at an elevated level. So if you'd like to be on one of our teams here, the easiest way is for you to become an elevated listener. I have a 2.5-hour course that you can take at your leisure. And once you finish the course, you will get a 7-question quiz. And when you score 100%, which I know you will because you would have been listening as I'm teaching, then you would get a certificate and get to have your picture and your certificate featured on drjacalyn.com as an elevated listener. You also get to be a regular guest on our TV show, The Listening Mentor. And you also get featured on our other website, USA Global TV, so that everyone will know that you're an elevated listener. And that's $257. You can find it on drjacalyn.com. All right, one more announcement before we go. I'm just going to shamelessly plug away about my 2 books. And here they are. I would love if you went over to Amazon and picked up a copy. They're each, I think this one, the newest one, is 99 cents for the ebook, and it's $9.99. And the first chapter is a story of something that happened to me many years ago, and I lived in shame and I never wanted to talk about it. But I got together with these other authors and I thought, I'm going to put myself out there in the effort to help one more person feel comfortable coming into the light and sharing their stories. So that's Adversity to Awesome. And this book, Behind the Green Screen, this is the story of how and why I left my corporate job, my 6-figure income, all the great benefits, traveling all over the world so that I could start as a life coach, my career. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and no one could afford to pay me. So I had a radio show at the same time. And I took that radio show from a radio show to a TV show to 29 shows, 39 people on our team, and all since January. So if you want to learn about it, please go over to Amazon and pick up those books. I really appreciate it. All right, we're signing off and coming back with Talking Heads right after this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ed. Bye for now.